Well, have you ever heard of the Pyramids of Antarctica? The Pyramids of Antarctica? Actually, this was discovered last year. It's controversial. Maybe it's just a pyramid-shaped mountain, but I don't know, man. It looks pretty damn perfectly shaped to be not something that's not man-made. That's what's really strange about this deal. Now, this was discovered actually in 2014, but it gives a lot of pause for thought about what possibly happened in our past. Because, we've seen a lot of archaeology that's come forth about various matters. And if it doesn't agree with the current religious doctrine of, mainstream archaeology, it's like they've ostracized that archaeologist and they don't want to hear anything they say. But, it's been shown that, they found 3 ancient pyramids discovered in Antarctica by a team of European and American scientists. 2 of the pyramids were discovered about 10 miles inland, and the third one was very close to the coastline. But we don't know anything about what our weather was like, possibly, say, 13,000 years ago, maybe. The thing is, I know some factoids about the end of the last ice age. The real major global ice age was 10,500 years ago. But then again, maybe the poles were in different places exactly. Maybe they weren't in the exact same place. And also, I'm going to also say something else here. If you look at some of the ancient ruins in South America and also Mexico or in Central America and pyramids, it looks like work was stopped in midstream. Like something happened that was catastrophic and stopped their work. Also, there's been people that insist that the casing stones on a Great Pyramid in Egypt were blown outward by a global cataclysmic event that shook the stones, the casing stones, from the outside, knocked them off the outside of the Great Pyramid, and they were strewn across the desert. And then when they built Cairo, they didn't actually mine them from the pyramid. They didn't take them off the pyramid. These stones, these casing stones that they built Cairo with later on, were actually taken from the desert floor because they were all strewn across the desert floor. And maybe, nobody really knows, man. I mean, it's like if there's ancient records, they were in Alexandria and they got burned down to the ground by Rome, Or maybe they're still being held in the Vatican in Rome itself, right? I'm talking about, they were, Alexandria, the Library of Alexandria, and, the library, the one that was burned to the ground by, I think it was actually by Rome's attacks, but, it's even controversial in itself. Some say the fire just started, but I don't know. But the other thing is, if we have this knowledge, I think, it's definitely hidden from the public. If there was ancient cultures that were far more sophisticated, and, maybe these pyramids were all power structures. It's also interesting, too, which you probably don't know about. There's a lot of things that they found, I guess it was about 6 years ago or so, that they found particles of pollen. And they also, which, indicated that there could have been trees and palm trees that grew in Antarctica at one point in time. Because how did the pollen get there? I mean, pollen only travels so far in the air, It's not going to travel, hundreds and hundreds of miles across the open ocean to get to Antarctica. And the other thing is they found other types of traces of bacteria in the sample waters in some of the lakes, the ancient lakes in East Antarctica. So, it indicates that the climate was actually much more warm than it is today. So nobody really knows. I mean, it's almost like you got religious doctrine. How religious doctrine are. People just believe stuff, whatever they want to believe. But they have religious doctrine in the archaeological world, and somebody goes against that, even in the face of, what's this? It looks like a pyramid. No, that's just an odd-shaped mountain. I don't know. Maybe it looks like a pyramid to me, man. So, but I personally, I think the Sphinx the Sphinx is actually, I think, older than the pyramids themselves. I think they proved that. But it lined up with star constellations in the past, like 13,000 years ago. Maybe that's why the 3 pyramids of Giza were built in their exact location. If you go back on the astrological map, they lined up with a certain constellation of Orion. So, it could be that these things are a hell of a lot older than you think. That's my point. But it's like they hide this from us because all of Western society and actually, Western society pretty much controls the Earth right now, the way things are in the present situation. But all of Western society basically has its underpinning on religion. Religion. And if it goes way back before even the biblical times, and there was other things out there and whatever was going on, this is the Pyramid of Giza. Now, it would just call into question the basic underpinnings of everything. Not, our governmental structures, our political structures, and the obedience of the people is largely based on religion, right? It is. It kind of calls into question the basic underpinnings of everything, So, there's been also a lot of indications that the climate in Egypt also changed very quickly, too. It looked like it probably changed from a lush jungle climate and to a dry desert in a matter of 2,000 or 3,000 years. There's been a lot of evidence on that, too. So, could have been like the other way. It could have been the same thing with Antarctica. Maybe it was Antarctica was warmer. Maybe it wasn't extremely warm, but maybe it was warmer. Maybe it was temperate. So, the thing is, they don't know. And, the thing is, they're not going to tell you everything about this because, people start putting two and two together with a lot of other things. Why is this? Why is that? Why is this? Well, why do we have to do this? And why do we have to do that? And why do we have to do this? And why is that like that? It's almost like the divine right of kings, the divine right of pharaohs, the divine right of Wall Street, right? That's what we got today. The divine right of Wall Street. We can't call that into question, right? Anyway, so. But it could be, to me, I just don't think these are mountains like, it's just shaped like this. Yeah, you got to remember, if they were in there, if they were there, these were probably 10, 13,000 years old, 15,000 years old, I don't know. And there would have been a little bit of erosion on them too, right? So, you're not going to find them like exactly perfect, but they damn well look close. Well, not that one, that was perfect. They damn well look close enough. They look close enough. It's almost like that. How many mountains are there that I know there's another mountain. I think it's in I don't know where it is exactly. It's almost like a religious place, but it's called the Pyramid Mountain, but it's not this perfectly shaped, and that's the only one I know of. But it's not this perfectly shaped. So I have to state that it's just a little bit over the top to believe that this is a natural formation. So hey, there's a little bit of erosion on it. It probably was micrometer accurate way back in the day, but who the hell knows? Who's got records from back then? Do we have any video from way back when they were building it? No. I mean, actually, maybe the societies way back when, 13,000 years ago, were so technologically involved like we are today. Could you imagine all our electronic equipment that we have today? If there was some kind of problem, all the plastic would be like dust. You know what I mean? They wouldn't even know anything we did today, right? 10,000 years from now, they wouldn't even know, right? I mean, the only thing they would see is something that was made out of stone that was really strong. They might have had a lot more sophisticated devices back in the day that we're not aware of at all. Or if we were aware of it, if there are people aware of it, they're not telling us. Actually, I think a lot of the secrets from the Library of Alexandria, I think a lot of secrets. I'm Catholic myself, but I'm not knocking Catholic, but I'm telling you, I think there's a lot of secrets of what really happened in the world and prior are stored in the Vatican. I think there's vast knowledge in your library that a lot of people haven't seen, and it would shed light on a lot of things, but then it would call into question, the basic structure of our society. And you know what? The powers that be don't want that to be known. But hey, man, it looks like the world, So I mean, maybe it's just an interesting point right now, but to me, it calls into question like a lot of different things. And one of the basic things I go by is just plain common sense. I mean, some people that are real religious don't like that, but I look at it, the truth is pretty self-evident a lot of times. It always has been. I don't need, to quote from this and that to freaking see the truth. And when I look at this, this structure, if it was in Antarctica, I mean, it's like a structure that was man-made in Antarctica, and was like predated biblical times. Who the hell knows what type of civilization that was, and what kind of knowledge they had, and what kind of norms that they had, what kind of morals they had, what kind of religion they had, what they worshipped, what they considered important, what they considered not important. It might have been far different from what it is today. And I think that's what scares the powers that be, because they got the racket set up right now in a certain fashion that they don't want to upset anything that interferes with their power structure. And the knowledge that comes from knowing that, yeah, there might have been pyramids in Antarctica, and maybe the pyramids were far more than what people think they are. Maybe they're power structures, like Tesla envisioned at, Warden Cliff. That's what I think. But hey, they're in Antarctica too, so they're all over the freaking world. I mean, they're in Bosnia, they're in China, they're in Central America, South America. They're all over the place. It tells me there was a global structure way back when, maybe 10, 13, 15,000 years ago, and something happened. Something happened that upset everything. It might have been, I don't know what. I have no idea, man. But something happened. The thing I always look at too is like, it looks like there's a lot of evidence that, in South America, I think it was South America, South Central America, where they had these large 100-ton stones. They were like, the structure was like in progress, construction in progress, and they were just laying there, precision cut, but not in place. It was almost like the work got interrupted and it was never taken up again. Why? Now, some people say aliens, but then again, I don't know about that, because if they were aliens, where the hell did they go? They just left and said, hey, we're going to book. I think it was people. I think there was a technological evolvement that, was probably even greater than what we got today, or on par with what we got today. And something happened to set them all back. Who the hell knows? It's probably been going on in this earth for millions of years, for all we know. So anyway, it's one reason I don't get wrapped up too much in all the freaking, hoo-yah about, this and that, and just be chill and use a little common sense and treat people normal. That's why I'm not extremely religious, because this actually calls a lot of structured religion into question. And, I think that's what the powers that be don't like. So anyway, interesting point. The Pyramids of Antarctica. Yeah.